episode, we're talking about the negative thought, the power behind the negative thought. Before you can really try to think a positive thought, before you can try to change the way you thinking, first you gotta be aware. Be very, very self-aware of what you're thinking and why you're thinking it. Because the power of the negative thought, it can just lead down a dark path. And soon, once you think one thought, it's just gonna be like a spiral of thoughts, and they're gonna keep coming. I know y'all be thinking things, and y'all just can't get a mind. Y'all just can't get a hold of y'all mind. And it's just crazy. I know how it is. I know the feeling. But this is what I'm here for, to guide you all and help you all through this. So, the negative thought. Before you can understand why the way you think that negative thought, you have to go back and do some soul searching. You have to do some soul digging, deep soul searching of knowing why you think the way you think. And the reason why you think the way you think, which is your subconscious mind. You think the way you think without you even have to think it. It's just your natural beliefs. It's just you think it before it even hits the surface. And the reason why that is because how you, not more of saying how you grew up, but it's more of who had the biggest influence on you while you were growing up. And what I mean by that is, when you was first born, when you was in your mother's womb, even though you were still in the womb, your subconscious mind was still listening while you was in the womb. So everything you were listening, your subconscious mind was listening. It was recording what you were listening. So all the way from when you was on your first day, your subconscious mind was listening, and it was recording everything you was hearing from all the way up to your 6 or 7 years old, and the tape recorder is still recording to your 6 or 7. And once you hit around 6 or 7, that tape recorder stops playing. And when it stops playing, when it stops recording, then the tape recorder is going to start playing. It's going to start playing. And as you continue to grow and move forward year after year, your subconscious mind, you're going to act, you're going to think, you're going to believe and act on everything that you heard, because that's your subconscious mind. That's what you were born into. That's what you only know. So you're going to think, you're going to do the things that you were prone to off the people that have been around you your whole life growing up, who have the biggest influence on you. Now, not saying that the people that you were around, not saying that your parents, that they're bad or anything. It's just who you are, or the false identity of who you are, of who the world says you are. Because you're wanting to change that thought, right? You're wanting to grow. You're wanting to, you know something else is out there differently than what you're thinking, but you just don't know how to get across this. But it goes back. You have to go back. You have to know where you come from. Why do you think the way you do? And it goes back to this point. Now, The cognitive thought. The cognitive thinking is the mental process that humans use to think, read, learn, remember, reason, pay attention, and ultimately comprehend information. And then you turn it around into knowledge. So once you automatically, as soon as that thought in your head, once you hear that thought, before it even hits the surface, you have to get that thought out instantly. You have 60 seconds before you can get that thought out. It's really quick. You have 60 seconds, because if you don't get that thought out within 60 seconds, you're just gonna dwell in that thought. You're gonna ponder on that thought. You have to identify the feeling behind that thought, and then change the thought to something positive. I know this can be tough, this can be hard, but this is what you have to do. You have to change your way of thinking. And it can be very, very challenging. Which goes back to your subconscious mind of the way you were brought up and who had the biggest influence on you. Now, who had the biggest influence on you, it doesn't mean that they didn't mean well for you. It's just a chain. It's a chain. That's what it is. But for you to break that chain, you have to put that work in. I know on my journey it was very, very hard to do this. Along the way, I used to always ask myself, why do I think like this? Why do I think like this? And I always try to think positive, but it's like something's always bringing me back down, that thought. But in reality, what no one really talks about, and this is the sauce right here, I'm giving y'all the sauce. So in reality, the enemy is the reason why that you're thinking this negative thought. The enemies, and when I say enemy, I mean the devil. The enemies, his goal is to kill, steal, and destroy whatever you have. He wants to steal those positive thoughts from you. He wants to destroy those positive thoughts. He wants what's meant for good for you to be for bad. And it just happens that you weren't born into the knowledge, but it stops with you, because no one can help you more than you want to help yourself. So it stops with you. This chain stops with you. This generational curse stops with you. And the enemy, he built these bricks. He built these bricks and built up a wall. And it's a strong, very, very strong wall. Nothing but built with lies. Just all bad type of things. Lies, false identity. Just everything is false. Everything. And you just don't know any other way. But we gonna win one over the devil. We gonna win one over the enemy. I'm exposing the truth. This is the sauce to success. This is how you make it to the other side. It all starts within. You gotta clean that inside out. You gotta start thinking pure. You gotta get that negative thought out. It all starts with that thought. It's very crucial. When you're thinking this negative thought, you have 60 seconds. Let me give y'all some sauce. When this negative thought hits, When you hear this negative thought, what you want to do is you want to write that negative thought down on paper. Write that negative thought down on paper. And when you write that negative thought down on paper, you have an external fight with the enemy. And once you externalize that internal thought that you had, you no longer really have an external enemy, because really the enemy is within you. In reality, to be honest, you're the problem. Like, I know you're like, what do you mean I'm the problem? Before, I've been told this before, and on my journey, I'm like, I'm not the problem. But in reality, like, it's very true. You are, because you have to work on yourself within the inside. You have to work on yourself. So once you externalize that thought, like I said, you have a physical fight with that thought, with the enemy. Because the devil, he's roaming the atmosphere. He's in the atmosphere. But these systems that the enemy has built, and it passes down from your family and then to you, and if it doesn't stop with you, if you don't stop it, is when you have kids, it's just going to keep going on and on and on, and it's going to be like a cycle. It's a cycle. That's what it is. That's what the enemy builds. He builds cycles, all types of things, so you won't get past a certain level. And then if you just keep having these negative thoughts, you just fall. You just keep falling and falling. So yes, guys, this negative thought, it is very, very crucial. It's very, very crucial of rewiring your brain to the way you want to think. As a man thinks in his heart, so as he. You know who you are, but in reality, you don't really know who you are, because it's the false identity that the enemy has put on you. You don't even know who you are, because you're thinking all these crazy things. Your mind will run off crazy, and then the way that our mind was designed, if you don't use your mind for the right things, it'll just run you crazy, and you have to put it on a leash like a wild animal. With this knowledge that I've given, I hope y'all take some notes. Y'all can, because this is the sauce. This is the sauce. This is the sauce of success. I'm telling the sauce. Yes, so I hope that I'm motivating you. I'm giving you hope to keep going, because this is a journey. But each of these episodes is going to be in alignment of transforming, because this is what it is. You have to transform your the way you're thinking. Scripture says, Romans 12:2. It says, "Be not conformed to this world, but by the renewing of your mind, and ye may prove what is that good and acceptable, perfect will of God." So, that's deep. So by the renewing of your mind, you have to renew your mind. Don't be conformed to the world. Don't be conformed to the world. And once you renew your mind, getting in that word, you're changing your mind. You're not in the world anymore. So the way that you used to think like the world, this stigma that the world have put on you. You think like the world, what you see the world doing, you do differently. You want to look at what the world is doing and do differently. Do the opposite. Until next episode, I hope y'all heart are fulfilled. Hope y'all hearts are fulfilled. And don't just listen, apply the knowledge, because the enemy, he don't care if you listen to a podcast. He doesn't care about none of that. But what he cares about is if you apply. You have to apply this knowledge. You have to apply this sauce. This is what is going to get you to the other side. This is what's going to. This is the next step. I love you all. I hope you guys stay prayed up, stay in that word, and stay positive.